Okay, today's little mindfulness walk is coming from Glen Ogle on the route between Glen and Loch Earn Head. We're at the side of a little lochen to start this walk, and we're going to be walking along the old railway line. It's a fairly peaceful day in among the reed beds, no one about. There was a grouchy old heron flew over just a minute ago, but didn't manage to get him on camera, so we're going to start this walk and hope you enjoy it. So the road starts off on one of the main roads north through Scotland. We start off, we've got, as we always like, a little burn coming down the hillside. As we're walking along, we've been advised to look out for falling boulders, so be on the lookout if you see any falling boulders. Then you might not get to the end of this little mindfulness walk. So, as I said, this is one of the old railway lines in Scotland that was closed down in the mid-1950s during the beaching cuts. Like many of these old pathways, both here and in other parts of the world, they've ended up being converted into walking routes, cycling routes, and all-access routes. So it's a nicely kept all-weather surface. You can walk, cycle, rollerblade, or pogo stick your way down the entire length of this lovely walk, which goes from Glen in the north down to Loch Earn Head in the south. A distance of maybe about 11 miles. You can imagine back in the day, Victorian travellers in their finery on this route, perhaps from London or Edinburgh, getting their first sight of the Highlands of Scotland from the window of a railway carriage pulled by an old-fashioned steam train with its clouds of steam coming down through the glen. Nowadays, we have to get here all in our own steam and use our own energy to power ourselves, moving one foot in front of the other, walking at a comfortable pace, taking in the scenery round about us as we go. As we've had a little bit of overnight rain, the smell from the trees, the mosses, the lichens, the ferns, the foxgloves, and the lupins can be really quite an intense and heady aroma. There's still a little bit of a dampness in the air and a little bit of a breeze. But all in all, for Scotland, at the end of June, it's not too bad a day. Coming up to a little bridge over the old railway, where the little road used to pass overhead. Bridges being a symbol of changes, perhaps in your life, perhaps in timescales. We talk about mending bridges, breaking bridges. We know that there can always be a bridge to take you from point A to point B. Walking along, putting one foot in front of the other, listening to the breeze through the beech trees, gently moving the leaves to and fro from side to side. And here we have another little waterfall with all these little burns and streams. You could be forgiven for thinking that in Scotland that we get a lot of rain. But does it really rain more here than other places in the world? Or is it just that we tend to notice the rain more than other people? Walking onwards, enjoying the steep banks on either side with the ferns and the beech trees. Perhaps imagining what it would have been like over 100 years ago to be in a train and first experience this landscape in all its pop-up book romantic three-dimensionality. It's strange in our modern world when we can just pop on and have a look at anywhere in the world to think what it must have been like to visit and experience places like this for the first time. The sense of awe and wonder of a child. Got another little waterfall. And sometimes in life, as we grow older, we don't allow ourselves to experience that awe and wonder perhaps quite as much as we did back then when we were younger and more unadulterated in our experience of the world. But it's good to know that it's still there. And if you allow yourself, you can experience that childhood, wonder, and innocence. And it's interesting that as we grow older, we perhaps try to learn how to be more mindful in our day-to-day lives. And perhaps we forget that as a child, we knew how to be mindful, and no one really needed to teach us breathing techniques. No one needed to teach us complicated counting techniques, set us down into strange, contorted yoga poses in order to achieve that state of mindfulness, of meditation, of fascination and wonder. Because as children, we knew how to do it all by ourselves. And as a child, I remember being fascinated by a little model railway line with a little steam engine and carriages that went round a little track. And now, as an adult, walking the railway line where the trains once travelled, I can experience that feeling again. The feeling of being that train, being that steam engine, moving onwards, one wheel in front of the other, moving onwards. Now the rain's getting a little bit too heavy to put the camera on, so I better just shut it down for a little while so that it doesn't get damaged. Well, I guess with all this talk about steam trains, then there's only one place that we can end this little mindfulness walk today, and that's at the very impressive railway viaduct overlooking Glen Ogle. The walkway goes right across to the other side and goes all the way down to Loch Earn. It's a very impressive railway viaduct. Not the one from Harry Potter, but I guess it could be if you use your imagination. So thanks again for joining me on this mindfulness walk. And we'll do more of these. We'll see you in the future. Thanks for watching Compelling Visions. Like and subscribe.